Alright, intro to sword cuts, starting with the draw. Showing a horizontal draw. There are a lot of steps to any sword draw. For this one, you're going to be stepping with the right foot, drawing with the right hand, cocking the left hip back, pulling the scabbard back so your blade can clear the sheath. And then you're taking the ready position and then resheathing your sword. So do it a couple times fast and slow so you can see what it looks like at a faster speed and then a slower speed. I learned it by practicing each movement individually and then combining them until I was able to do them all almost at one time. For resheathing your sword, you're going to lay the flat part of the blade back against the Y in your left hand, which is to simulate the scabbard, until the tip falls into that opening, and then slowly push the sword back in. You'll notice that when I draw, I'm using the left thumb to simulate loosening the sword in the scabbard, and I'm turning the scabbard and the sword itself so it becomes horizontal so I can draw out and slice. It's an exaggerated pullback, so you can see the left hip coming back and the left hand coming back to be able to clear the blade from the scabbard. Yeah, just practice this a lot because I still find it challenging to be able to draw smoothly. And I was not key-eyeing or anything because I didn't want to freak out my neighbors for any of these exercises. We are in a quarantine after all. All right, moving on to some basic warm-up exercises. You see me doing a shomen strike, and then I angle on either side at a 45-degree angle, keeping my feet facing forward, a little drop in the knee. You can do this standing. You can also do this from kneeling as well if you really want to isolate that upper body. It's a good core and arm workout. And then, of course, you can come up with whatever calisthenics you want. Here we're doing squats with the blade. And then you're going to turn at an angle, and you can do lunges. I choose rear lunges because of space, but you can also do front lunges. You can do walking lunges. I wasn't doing it correctly here, but just be careful that your knee does not go past your ankle. So you want your shin vertical to protect your knee. I just didn't have a lot of space. All right, the next we're showing is just a shomen strike from a ready position. Do a couple times fast and then slow. I'm drawing up the blade and then stepping my front foot back is one variation, and then coming down all in one motion. As you strike, you're going to want to come and tighten up all the muscles in your back, your butt, and your hamstrings. Breathe out. And you're not just swinging the sword. You're actually kind of rolling it down as you swing. And I showed a stepping back variation, and now I show a third variation where you bring the sword back kind of as a bait to kind of say that you're open, and then you come forward with that shomen strike, breathing out, good key eyes every time. Now is your yokemen strike. So it's the same beginning, same setup, and it changes there. You're stepping off at a 45-degree angle. As you step, that back foot and the sword come down at the same time, so you can really use your hip to create the power of that strike. Again, good posture, good breathing, and you can do both sides, and I show that here. So I'm stepping, swinging up the blade, cover my flank, and then coming down. When I teach this one, as I raise the blade up, I take a step with the back foot to cross the line, and then as I go to cut, the other foot follows and comes off at that 45. Here's another variation where you're just getting more reps in without the turning motion of the blade, and you're just moving back and forth in that 45, and you can advance or retreat doing that exercise as well. This is your ski. What you're always going to be doing is stepping behind the blade, whether it's a shuffle step or a slide step. So that was a slide step, and here I'm showing the step. You want to have a good structure with your forearms in order to be able to maintain the piercing power from the tip of the blade. And you're not just driving with your arms, but you're driving with your hips. So it's a step forward or a slide step forward, and then you can see me popping my hips forward through my arms and into somebody's side, throat, armor. The other thing you want to remember is that you got to bring the sword back. So I added this little bit in it towards the end. So I've pierced, then I got to come back. Otherwise, your blade is stuck in somebody's body. All right, this is just to show a transition how you can turn around, because if you're walking down a room or a field, you got to be able to turn around somehow. So I'm essentially raising up the blade, covering my flank as I turn, and then striking.